the big question. But let me go across to our colleague Sanjay Suri outside the White House, joining us now live. Sanjay, it's the shock, it's the bomb that President Trump had threatened us with, and it is now exploded. A 50% tariff rate on India, but a 21-day window left open there, Sanjay. What are you hearing? What is that window about? Does the U.S. see that as an attempt for any kind of negotiation and outreach? Because experts that we're speaking to here believe that while India must not retaliate, India must not give in either.
You know, we've been having one window open after another. Of course, we had that 90-day pause in tariffs after the so-called Liberation Day announcement on April the 2nd. That went to July the 9th. Then we were told that it'll be the end of July. Then it is the first week of August. Now we have this, and now we have another 3 weeks. So we have had a number of windows open up, and there's a pattern to this opening of the windows, if you like. Trump is giving other countries, and in this case, of course, India, time to come around to its position. But the question really is that while India holds on now to this 3-week window of hope, what possibly could change? The one optimistic outcome could be if within these 3 weeks the Russia-Ukraine war were to end. Now that would be really taking optimism to a stretch. Of course, it's not impossible, but let's face it, it's not likely. So if that were the war were to end, then this argument about Russian oil gets a bit dated and everything will have to be considered afresh. Other than that, there are red lines that the Indian government has drawn, and if that war does not end, then India buying oil from Russia is a red line. India is holding on to that. India is not going to say, okay, 3 weeks have passed and we change our mind about the same thing. The other big red line that came up earlier through the course of the discussions was import of agricultural and particularly dairy produce from the US. The Indian government held firm on that, and it has to. No Indian government can give in to the US demands there. And in 3 weeks, that's not going to change. So this diplomacy is all about negotiations and about making the impossible happen. There is, in that sense, some hope. But going by the two red lines that India has held on to, import of oil from Russia and agricultural imports, this is not something that India can budge on, really.
All right. Just stay with us, Sanjay Suri. We also have with us Rajiv Kumar, former Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog. Kirit Parikh, former member of the Economic Advisory Council of the Prime Minister, is also on the phone line. Mr. Parikh, if I can come across to you, what options do you see for India at the moment? This is clearly directed against India for purchase of Russian oil and gas. We're being singled out. China has bought much more. Turkey has been buying. Brazil has been buying. Saudi Arabia, Singapore. But clearly, Donald Trump feels that India does not have much leverage. What can we do now till the next 21 days?
Even the Americans are importing from Russia. So I think there is, the whole idea is all a completely crazy idea, and it's just an excuse to beat down India. I don't think India would give in, or I don't even agree that they should. I also believe that they should not give in, because once you give in to a bully, you would be asked to give in again and again and again. And I think we have to stand firm. What will happen to our exports in the short term is really quite worrisome, but I think we have to learn to live with it. And I believe that this cannot last too long, because Trump would see that there is so much of adverse impact on U.S. economy itself in terms of the prices that will go up in the U.S. The consumer prices and inflation would go up, and U.S. economy cannot continue to operate this kind of high tariffs all around.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think?
Right.